I was sitting in my hotel room in Miami when my phone buzzed. It was Marcus, my husband of 8 years. His voice sounded different, angry and mean in a way I'd never heard before. "Well, Keisha," he said, not even saying hello. "I hope you enjoyed your little girl's trip because you don't have a home to come back to anymore." My heart stopped. "What are you talking about?" "I demolished your precious family house. You know, the one you care about more than your own husband. It's gone. Nothing but a pile of wood and memories now." I felt sick. The house where I grew up. Where my grandmother Dolores taught me to make her famous sweet potato pie. Where my mom Angie would braid my hair on Sunday mornings. Where my little brother Terrell took his first steps. "You're lying," I whispered. "Am I? Check your security cameras, baby." "Oh, wait, you can't. I made sure to destroy those first." His laugh was cold and scary. "Maybe next time you'll think twice about keeping secrets from your husband." But then something amazing happened. I started laughing. Not a sad laugh or a crazy laugh, but a real, happy laugh that came from deep in my belly. "What's so funny?" Marcus demanded. "Oh, honey," I said, wiping tears from my eyes. "You have no idea what you just did. I destroyed your house, the house you loved more than me." "No, Marcus, you destroyed the decoy house. The real family house, the one worth $3 million that my great-grandfather built, is hidden in the woods behind what you just knocked down. Congratulations, you just destroyed a fake house we built to keep people like you away from our real treasure." The phone went quiet for a long time. "That's impossible," he finally said, but his voice shook. "The house you destroyed was built in 1987. Our real family house was built in 1923. It's where all the actual valuable things are kept. The antiques, the jewelry, the paintings, even great-grandpa's gold coins. You know, the stuff that's actually worth the $750,000 you've been demanding from me." I could hear him breathing hard on the other end. "But that's not even the best part, Marcus. Want to know what the best part is?" "What?" he whispered. "I've been recording all our phone calls for the past 6 months, including this one where you just admitted to destroying property and trying to steal my inheritance. My lawyer is going to love this." The line went dead. I sat back in my hotel chair and smiled. My best friend Zara knocked on the door. "Girl, what was that laughing about? We could hear you from down the hall." "Marcus just made the biggest mistake of his life," I said. "And I think it's time I told you the real story about my family and why I married a man who turned out to be so greedy and mean." Comment below, as I'd love to hear your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel to help us hit that big 5,000 subscriber milestone. We're so close, and every single one counts. It's free for you, but it means everything to this channel. And hey, while you're at it, I've left a video and also a link to a playlist on the final screen that I promise will surprise you. Seriously, don't miss them. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. Now go hit that button and be part of the journey. Let me take you back to where this all started. 3 years ago, when I first learned about my inheritance, and everything began to change. My grandmother Dolores was 92 when she passed away. She was the strongest woman I ever knew. She raised 7 kids by herself after my grandfather died young, and she never complained about anything, not once. When she got sick, she called me to her bedside. "Keisha, baby," she said in her soft voice, "I need to tell you something important about our family." I thought she was going to talk about her funeral or something normal like that. I was wrong. Your great-great-grandfather, Booker Washington Jenkins, yes, that was really his name. He was born into slavery, but he was smart as a whip. After freedom came, he started buying land, lots of land. He bought it cheap because white folks didn't think black people should own property. I nodded, holding her wrinkled hand. But Booker was clever. He knew that land would be worth something someday. He bought 300 acres in what's now the richest part of town. He built our real family house deep in the woods where nobody could find it. Then he built a smaller, simpler house at the front of the property. Why 2 houses, Grandma? Protection, baby. He knew there would always be people who wanted to take what we had, so he made the front house look like that was all we owned. But the real house, the one with all the treasures and the family history, stayed hidden and safe. She squeezed my hand tight. That land is worth millions now. The real house has antiques worth more than most people make in their whole lives. But Keisha, listen to me carefully. You can only tell family about this. Real family. People who love you for who you are. No. Toi. Not what you have. I promised her I would keep this secret safe. There's more, baby. Your great-great-grandfather was smart about money, too. He started businesses. He saved every penny. That money has been growing for over 100 years. You're inheriting $750,000 in cash, plus the land, plus the real house, plus everything in it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My family had been rich this whole time, and nobody knew? But why didn't anyone ever tell me? Because money changes people, Keisha. It makes them act ugly and mean. It makes them forget about love and kindness. Your great-great-grandfather made a rule. The inheritance only goes to family members who prove they can be trusted, who show kindness to others, who don't let greed control their hearts. After Grandma Dolores died, I didn't tell anyone about the inheritance. Not my friends, not my coworkers, and especially not Marcus. I wanted to see what kind of man I had really married. For 2 years, I watched him. I noticed how he treated waiters at restaurants. He was rude and never tipped well. I saw how he talked about poor people, like they were lazy and stupid. I watched how angry he got when his friends bought nice things and he couldn't. But I still loved him. I thought maybe he could change. Maybe if I showed him how to be kind and generous, he would learn. I tried to teach him by example. I volunteered at homeless shelters and food banks. I helped my neighbors when they needed it. I gave money to charity without telling him where it came from. Marcus just got more and more bitter. He started asking mean questions about money all the time. Why don't we have a bigger house? Why can't we take expensive vacations? Your family had to have money somewhere. I know your grandmother left you something. I kept telling him we were doing fine, that we should be grateful for what we had. But inside, I was starting to see the truth about the man I married. Then 6 months ago, everything changed. Marcus found some papers I had accidentally left out. Papers from my grandmother's lawyer about the inheritance. He confronted me that night, and he was angrier than I'd ever seen him. $750,000, he screamed. You've been hiding $750,000 from me, your own husband. Marcus, calm down. Let me explain. Explain what? That you don't trust me? That you think I'm not good enough for your precious family money? I tried to tell him about my great-great-grandfather's rule, about how the money was only for family members who showed kindness and empathy, but he didn't want to hear it. Give me half of that money right now, Keisha. I'm your husband. I deserve it. It doesn't work that way, Marcus. The inheritance comes with responsibilities. It's supposed to be used to help people, to make the world better. I don't care about helping people. I care about us having a better life. That's when I knew I had married the wrong person. A truly kind person would have asked how they could help others with that blessing. A good person would have been excited about making the world better, but Marcus only cared about what he could buy for himself. For months after that, he kept demanding the money. He would bring it up during dinner, during movies, right before bed. He couldn't talk about anything else. He started being mean to me in little ways, not helping with chores, making nasty comments about my appearance, ignoring me when I tried to have normal conversations. 2 weeks ago, he gave me an ultimatum. I'm done playing games, Keisha. Either you give me my half of that inheritance money, or this marriage is over. You have 1 week to decide. I knew then that my marriage was already over. The man I loved was gone, replaced by someone greedy and cruel. But I wasn't ready to give up completely. Maybe there was still hope. I'm going to Miami with Zara and Tiana for a girls' weekend to think about everything, I told him. When I get back, we'll talk. Fine, he said, but I want an answer the minute you walk through that door. What I didn't tell him was that I had already made my decision. I was going to file for divorce. I had already talked to a lawyer about protecting my inheritance, and I had started recording our phone conversations because I was worried about what he might do when he realized he wasn't getting any money. I never imagined he would be stupid enough to destroy what he thought was my family's house. But Marcus always was the kind of person who acted without thinking when he was angry. Now, sitting in my Miami hotel room, I realized that Marcus had actually done me a favor. He had shown me exactly who he really was. He had proven that he was willing to destroy things that mattered to me just to hurt me. He had revealed himself as someone completely opposite to what my great-great-grandfather wanted in our family. But he had also made a huge mistake. By destroying the decoy house, he had committed a serious crime. And by recording him admitting to it, I now had evidence that would help me in the divorce. I called my lawyer, Patricia Reeves, right away. Patricia, it's Keisha. Something big just happened, and I need your help. What's going on, honey? I played her the recording of Marcus admitting to destroying the house. Oh my goodness, Keisha. This changes everything. Destruction of property, attempted extortion, emotional abuse. We have him dead to rights. But are you okay? This must be so scary. I'm okay. Actually, I feel free for the first time in months. But Patricia, there's something else. Something I never told you about my family. I explained about the real house, the one hidden in the woods, about the true value of my inheritance and why my family had kept it secret for so many generations. So the house he destroyed wasn't even the real family house? Nope, it was just a distraction my great-great-grandfather built, to keep people away from our real treasures. Marcus destroyed a house built in the 1980s that was worth maybe $50,000. The real house is worth millions, and it's perfectly safe. Keisha, you need to get home immediately, not because you're in danger, but because we need to document everything Marcus did. We need photos, evidence, witnesses. This is going to be the easiest divorce case I've ever handled. I hung up the phone and looked at myself in the hotel mirror. For 8 years, I had tried to love a man who turned out to be selfish and cruel. For 8 years, I had hoped he would learn to be kind and generous like my family taught me to be. But sometimes, you have to accept that some people will never change. Some people will always choose greed over love, hatred over kindness, selfishness over empathy. As I packed my bags to fly home early, I thought about what my grandmother had told me about family. Real family loves you for who you are, not what you have. Real family wants to build each other up, not tear each other down. Real family protects each other and helps each other grow into better people. Marcus had proven he would never be real family. But now I was free to find people who would be. My phone rang again. It was Marcus, but this time his voice was different, scared. Keisha, baby, I think I made a mistake. Can we talk about this? Maybe we can work something out. But I had already learned the most important lesson my great-great-grandfather had tried to teach. Some people will show you who they really are if you just wait long enough. And when they do, you should believe them. The plane couldn't get me home fast enough. I had a feeling that Marcus's surprises were just beginning, and I wanted to be there to see his face when he realized just how badly he had messed up. The flight home felt like the longest 3 hours of my life. I kept thinking about Marcus and what he might do when he realized how badly he had messed up. When we landed in Atlanta, I turned my phone back on and saw 15 missed calls from him and 12 text messages. The messages started out angry. You better call me back right now and stop playing games with me. But as the hours went on, they got more and more worried. Keisha, please just talk to me, and I think we need to figure this out together. I didn't call him back. Instead, I called my cousin Dexter, who lived close to our family property. Dexter, I need you to drive out to the old place and take pictures of everything Marcus destroyed. But be careful. Don't let him see you. Girl, what are you talking about? What did Marcus destroy? I explained everything that had happened. Dexter was quiet for a long time. Keisha, you know I never liked that man. He always looked at our family like we owed him something. But I can't believe he actually destroyed Grandma's front house. Can you get out there today? I'm already in my truck. And Keisha, I'm bringing my boys with me, just in case Marcus is still hanging around acting crazy. While I waited for my luggage, Patricia called me back. Keisha, I've been thinking about your situation all day. We need to be very smart about how we handle this. Marcus has committed several crimes, but he's also shown that he can be dangerous when he's angry. I want you to stay somewhere safe tonight. Where should I go? Do you have family you can stay with? I thought about my Aunt Beverly, who lived on the other side of town. She was Grandma Dolores's youngest daughter, and she was the only other person who knew about our family's real wealth. When I was little, she used to tell me stories about our great-great-grandfather Booker, and how smart he was. I can stay with my Aunt Beverly. Good. Don't go home tonight. Don't go to the property. Let your cousin take pictures and document everything. But you stay away until we know what Marcus is planning to do next. An hour later, I was sitting in Aunt Beverly's kitchen, drinking sweet tea and trying to process everything that had happened. Aunt Beverly was 75 years old, but she was still sharp as a tack and tougher than most people half her age. "That boy never deserved you," she said, shaking her head. "From the first time you brought him to Sunday dinner, I could tell he was more interested in what our family had than who you were. Why didn't you say anything?" "Baby, you were so happy. And sometimes people have to learn lessons the hard way. Your grandma and I, we talked about Marcus many times. We both hoped he would prove us wrong." She reached across the table and held my hand. "But destroying that house? That shows a level of meanness that scared even us. A person who would destroy something you love just to hurt you. That's not someone who can ever be trusted." My phone buzzed. It was Dexter calling. "Keisha, you need to see these pictures. This fool didn't just knock down the house. He destroyed everything. The garden Grandma planted, the old oak tree where we used to have family reunions, even the little shed where Grandpa kept his tools. It looks like he went crazy with a bulldozer." I felt tears starting to come. Even though it wasn't our real family house, that front house still had memories. My mom had her high school graduation party there. My brother Terrell had his first kiss under that oak tree. Did any neighbors see what happened? Oh yeah, Mrs. Washington across the street said it took him all day yesterday. She said he kept stopping to make phone calls, and he looked madder and madder each time. She also said he had a big dumpster truck come and haul everything away. He hauled everything away, every piece of wood, every brick, like he wanted to make sure there was nothing left for you to even remember. That's when I realized how truly cruel Marcus had become. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about hurting me as badly as possible. But then Dexter said something that made me feel better. "But Keisha, the funny thing is, he never even looked toward the woods, never walked back there at all. The path to the real house is completely untouched. It's like he had no idea there was anything back there." "Good. Take pictures of the woods too, so we can prove he never found the real property." After I hung up, Aunt Beverly made us both a plate of leftover fried chicken and mac and cheese. "Now tell me, baby, what are you going to do about all this?" "I'm getting divorced. Patricia says with the recording and the evidence of what he destroyed, it should be pretty easy." "That's not what I mean. I mean, what are you going to do with your life after this is all over?" I hadn't really thought about that. For 8 years, my life had been about being Marcus's wife, trying to make our marriage work, hoping he would become a better person. I don't know, Aunt Beverly. I feel like I've been asleep for 8 years, and now I'm finally waking up. Well, let me tell you something your grandma wanted me to tell you when you were ready to hear it. That inheritance isn't just money, baby. It's responsibility. Your great-great-grandfather wanted future generations to use that wealth to help people, to make the world better. She got up and walked to her bedroom, then came back with an old wooden box I had never seen before. "Your grandma left this for you, but she made me promise not to give it to you until you had learned what kind of person your husband really was." Inside the box were dozens of letters, all written in my great-great-grandfather's handwriting. The first one was addressed to my future family. I opened it with shaking hands. "My dear family," it read, "if you are reading this, it means you have inherited not just money and property, but also the responsibility to be a light in the world. I was born into slavery, but I died a free man with enough wealth to help many people. I want you to use this blessing to help others find their own freedom. Freedom from poverty, from hunger, from hopelessness." The letter went on to explain that Booker had always planned for his descendants to use the family wealth to start businesses that would hire people who couldn't find jobs elsewhere, to buy land that could be used for community gardens and affordable housing, to fund scholarships for children whose families couldn't afford education. "He started a tradition," Aunt Beverly explained. "Every person who inherits becomes responsible for continuing his mission. Your great-grandmother used the money to start a school for Black children back when they weren't allowed in white schools. Your grandmother used it to help families buy their first homes when banks wouldn't give them loans. What am I supposed to do?" "That's for you to decide, baby. But it has to come from your heart. It has to be about helping people, not just making yourself comfortable." As I read more letters, I started to understand why my family had been so careful about keeping our wealth secret. Booker Washington Jenkins hadn't just built financial security for his family. He had created a legacy of service and kindness that had lasted for over 100 years. And Marcus had almost destroyed it all without even knowing what he was doing. My phone rang again. This time it was an unknown number. "Hello? Keisha, thank God, it's Marcus. I'm calling from my friend Derek's phone because you haven't been answering mine." "I don't want to talk to you, Marcus. Please, baby, I know I messed up. I know I shouldn't have destroyed the house. I was just so angry and hurt that you were keeping secrets from me." "So you decided to destroy my childhood memories? That's your idea of a good solution? Look, maybe we can fix this. Maybe I can rebuild the house exactly like it was. Maybe we can start over and do things right this time." I almost laughed. He still had no idea what he had actually done. "Marcus, there's nothing to fix between us. You showed me who you really are." "But I love you, Keisha. I know I get crazy about money sometimes, but it's only because I want us to have a good life together." "No, Marcus, you get crazy about money because you're greedy. There's a difference." He was quiet for a minute. "What if I promised to change? What if I went to therapy or something?" "You can't therapy away a person's character, Marcus, and you can't take back what you did." "So that's it? 8 years of marriage, and you're just going to throw it all away?" "I'm not throwing anything away. You already destroyed it." I hung up the phone and turned it off completely. Aunt Beverly had been listening to the whole conversation. "You handled that well, baby. But he's not going to give up easy. Men like Marcus don't like losing control." "What do you think he'll do next?" "I don't know, but we need to be ready for anything." She was right. The next morning, I woke up to find 5 police cars outside Aunt Beverly's house. A young officer named Detective Johnson was knocking on the door. "Ma'am, we're looking for Keisha Thompson. Her husband filed a missing person report and said he was worried about her safety." I opened the door, still in my pajamas. "I'm Keisha Thompson. I'm not missing. I'm staying with my aunt, because I don't want to see my husband right now." "Ma'am, your husband also filed a report claiming that you stole money from him and that you're mentally unstable. He said you've been acting erratically and he's concerned you might hurt yourself." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Marcus was trying to make me look crazy so he could get control of my inheritance money. "Officer, I have my lawyer on speed dial. Can I call her before we discuss this any further?" "Of course, ma'am." Patricia arrived 20 minutes later with a briefcase full of papers and a very serious expression on her face. "Officers, my client is the victim of domestic abuse and property destruction. Her husband demolished her family's home yesterday in an attempt to extort money from her. We have recorded evidence of his crimes." She played the recording of Marcus admitting to destroying the house. "Furthermore, Mom," Patricia continued, "filing a false police report is itself a crime. Mr. Thompson knows exactly where his wife is and why she's here. This is an attempt to harass and intimidate her." Detective Johnson listened to the recording twice. "Ma'am, do you want to press charges against your husband for destruction of property?" "Yes, I do." "And do you have somewhere safe to stay while we sort this all out?" "She'll be staying with family," Patricia answered, "and we'll be filing for a restraining order this afternoon." After the police left, I realized that Marcus was more dangerous than I had thought. He wasn't just greedy. He was willing to lie to the police and try to have me arrested just to get his hands on my money. "Aunt Beverly, I think I need to see the real house today. I need to make sure everything is still safe." "Are you ready for that, baby?" "I think I have to be." An hour later, we were driving down the old dirt road that led to the back of our family property. I hadn't been to the real house in over 2 years. The last time was right after Grandma's funeral, when I had to sign papers with the lawyer. The path through the woods was overgrown, but our old truck could still make it through. And then, around a bend in the trees, I saw it. The real family house was exactly like I remembered from childhood visits. 3 stories tall, painted white with green shutters, a wraparound porch with rocking chairs, flower gardens that had been tended for nearly a century. It looked like something from a fairy tale, hidden away in the peaceful woods. But more than that, it felt like home in a way that the house I shared with Marcus never had. "Welcome back, baby," Aunt Beverly said softly. As we walked up the front steps, I felt my great-great-grandfather's presence all around me. This house represented everything he had worked for, everything he had dreamed his family could become. And Marcus had tried to destroy it without even knowing it existed. But he had failed. And now it was time for me to figure out how to carry on the family tradition of using our blessings to help others. I was about to unlock the front door when my phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. "I know where you are. We need to talk. Marcus." My blood ran cold. Had he followed us? Was he watching us right now? I looked around the peaceful woods and realized that my problems with Marcus were far from over. I grabbed Aunt Beverly's arm and pulled her behind the big oak tree near the house. "He's here somewhere," I whispered, looking around the woods. "He knows where we are." Aunt Beverly was tougher than I expected. Instead of being scared, she got angry. "That fool thinks he can come onto our family land and threaten us? I don't think so." She pulled out her phone and called someone. "Dexter, it's Aunt Beverly. Marcus is out here at the real house trying to scare Keisha. You need to get out here right now and bring whoever you can. While we waited, I tried to think. How had Marcus found us? The path to the real house was hidden and overgrown. Even people who knew our family didn't know exactly where it was. Then I remembered I had used my phone's GPS to navigate here. Marcus still had access to our shared phone plan. He could see everywhere I went. Aunt Beverly, he's been tracking my phone. He probably followed the GPS signal. Well then, let's give him something to follow. She took my phone and walked toward the woods on the opposite side of the house from where we had parked. When he comes looking for this signal, we'll be long gone. But as we snuck around to the back of the house, I saw something that made my heart stop. Marcus's truck was parked behind a cluster of trees about 50 yards away. He had been here for a while, watching us. There, I pointed to his truck. I see it. Now listen to me carefully, Keisha. Your great-great-grandfather built this house with multiple escape routes because he knew there would always be people who wanted to take what we had. There's a back door that leads to a path through the creek. We can get to the road that way without him seeing us. We crept around to the back of the house. Aunt Beverly pulled out an old key and unlocked a door I had never noticed before. This door has been here for 100 years, she whispered. Booker built it so his family could always get away safely. As we slipped inside, I got my first real look at the inside of our family house as an adult. It was even more beautiful than I remembered. Antique furniture that was probably worth more than most people's cars. Paintings on the walls that looked like they belonged in museums. A grandfather clock that had been keeping time since 1923. But we didn't have time to look around. Aunt Beverly led me through a hallway to the back door. The path follows the creek for about half a mile, then comes out near the old church. Dexter will meet us there. We opened the back door and stepped outside, right into Marcus. Well, look what we have here. He was standing there with the meanest smile I had ever seen. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. His clothes were dirty and his hair was messy. Hello, Keisha. Nice little house you've got hidden back here. Much nicer than the one I destroyed. Marcus, you need to leave. This is private property and you're trespassing. Trespassing? I'm your husband. What's yours is mine, remember? Remember? He pushed past us and walked into the house like he owned it. Oh, wow, he said, looking around at all the beautiful things. This is what you've been hiding from me? This is why you wouldn't share your inheritance? Aunt Beverly stepped forward. Young man, you need to get out of this house right now. You have no right to be here. And who are you, the security guard? I'm Beverly Jenkins, and this house belongs to my family. You are not family, and you are not welcome. Marcus laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Not family? I've been married to Keisha for 8 years. I'm more family than anyone. He started walking through the house, touching things, picking up antiques, and looking at them like he was deciding how much money they were worth. Marcus, stop touching our things. Our things? Keisha, when are you going to understand that we're married? Everything you own, I own half of. Including this house and everything in it. He picked up a small silver picture frame with a photo of my great-great-grandfather in it. Is this the famous Booker Washington Jenkins, the slave who got rich? The way he said it made me sick. There was so much hatred and disrespect in his voice. "Put that down." "Why? It's just a picture of some old dead guy." He tossed the picture frame carelessly onto a table. It hit the edge and fell to the floor. The glass broke and scattered across the hardwood. "Oops," Marcus said, but he was smiling. That's when I knew he hadn't come here to try to save our marriage. He had come here to hurt me as much as possible. "You know what, Keisha? I've been thinking about our phone call yesterday, about how you laughed at me when I told you I destroyed your house." He walked over to a beautiful antique vase that had been in our family for decades. "You thought it was so funny that I destroyed the wrong house. You thought you were so smart, hiding all this from me." He picked up the vase. "But here's the thing. I can destroy this house too, and everything in it." "Marcus, don't!" He dropped the vase. It shattered into a million pieces. "Whoops, there goes a few $1,000s. Aunt Beverly stepped forward. "Young man, you are going to pay for that." "With what money, old lady? The money my wife has been hiding from me?" He moved toward a display case full of my great-great-grandfather's military medals and awards. "Marcus, please stop. Those things can't be replaced. They're our family history." "Your family history, not mine. You made that very clear." He opened the display case. "But you know what? If I can't have half of your inheritance, then maybe you shouldn't get to keep all these precious family memories either." He grabbed a handful of the medals. That's when I heard the most beautiful sound in the world. Car doors slamming outside. Dexter had arrived, and he wasn't alone. "Keisha? Aunt Beverly? Y'all okay in there?" Marcus froze with the medals in his hand. "That's my cousin," I told him, "and he brought help. You need to put those down and leave right now." "I'm not scared of your cousin." But when Dexter walked through the front door, with 5 of our male relatives behind him, Marcus's attitude changed real quick. "Marcus Thompson," Dexter said in a voice I had never heard him use before. "You have 5 seconds to put down whatever you're holding and walk out of this house." Marcus looked around at all the men surrounding him. Our family didn't play when it came to protecting each other. "This is between me and my wife." "No," said my Uncle James, who was 6 feet tall and built like a football player. "This is between you and us now. You destroyed property, you're trespassing, and you're threatening our family. That makes it our business." Marcus slowly put the medals back in the display case. "Fine, but this isn't over, Keisha. You can't hide from me forever." "Actually, she can," said a voice from the doorway. It was Patricia, my lawyer, holding a stack of papers. "Mr. Thompson, you are being served with divorce papers and a restraining order. You are required to stay at least 500 feet away from my client at all times." She handed him the papers. "You are also being charged with destruction of property, criminal trespassing, and attempted theft. The police are waiting outside to escort you off this property." Marcus looked at the papers, then at all of us, then back at the papers. $750,000, he said quietly. "That's all I wanted, half of what was rightfully mine." "It was never rightfully yours," I said, "and it's not $750,000. "What?" I looked around at the house, at all the beautiful antiques, at the land that stretched for acres in every direction. "The inheritance is worth about $3 million total, but you were never going to get any of it, Marcus, not 1 penny." His face went white. $3 million? The money, the land, the house, everything in it. but it only goes to people who prove they can be trusted with it. People who use it to help others, not just themselves. You lied to me. I tested you, and you failed. He stared at me for a long time, and I could see him thinking about all the ways he had messed up, all the chances he had missed to show me he was a good person. I could have been different, he said finally. If you had just told me the truth from the beginning, I could have been the kind of person you wanted. No, Marcus, you couldn't have, because the kind of person I wanted would have been kind and generous without knowing about the money. The kind of person I wanted would have treated people well because it was the right thing to do, not because he thought it would get him something. The police officers came in and led Marcus away. He didn't fight or argue anymore. He just looked defeated and sad. After everyone left, I sat on the front porch of the real family house with Aunt Beverly and watched the sun set through the trees. How do you feel, baby? Free, I said. For the first time in years, I feel completely free. And what are you going to do with that freedom? I thought about all the letters from my great-great-grandfather, all his dreams for how his descendants would use the family wealth to help others. I want to start a foundation, something that helps women who are trying to leave bad marriages, a place where they can get legal help, financial support, counseling, job training, everything they need to build new lives. Aunt Beverly smiled. Your great-great-grandfather would be proud. What are you going to call it? The Booker Washington Jenkins Foundation for New Beginnings. 3 months later, the foundation was up and running. We had helped 12 women leave abusive marriages, gotten 6 women enrolled in college, and helped 4 women start their own businesses. Marcus had moved to another state after the divorce was final. He never got any of the inheritance money, and he had to pay for all the damage he caused to the front house. The last I heard, he was working at a car dealership and telling people that his ex-wife had stolen millions of dollars from him. I didn't care what he told people. I had learned the most important lesson of my life, that money doesn't change who you are inside. It just reveals who you were all along. And I had discovered something even more valuable than my inheritance. I had discovered that the best way to honor my family's legacy was to help other people find their own strength and build their own better futures. The real family house became the headquarters for the foundation. Every day, I got to walk through rooms filled with beautiful antiques and family history, and I got to use those blessings to help women who needed hope. Sometimes I thought about what would have happened if Marcus had been a different kind of person, if he had cared more about kindness than money, more about helping others than helping himself. We might still be married. We might have built something beautiful together. But then I realized that everything had happened exactly the way it was supposed to. Marcus had shown me who he really was, and I had learned who I really was too. I was someone who wanted to use my blessings to lift other people up, not someone who wanted to hoard wealth for myself. My great-great-grandfather had been right all along. The inheritance wasn't just money and property. It was the responsibility to be a light in the world. And I was finally ready to shine. 6 months after the divorce, I met someone new. His name was Trevor, and he was a teacher at the local elementary school. He volunteered at homeless shelters on weekends, and he had never asked me anything about money or what I owned. When I finally told him about my family's wealth and the foundation, he didn't get excited about what it could do for him. He got excited about what it was already doing for other people. "You're changing lives," he said. "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard." That's when I knew I had found someone who shared my great-great-grandfather's values. Someone who understood that the best things in life aren't the things you can buy, but the things you can give. Marcus had tried to destroy everything I cared about because he thought that would give him power over me. But instead, he had set me free to become the person I was always meant to be. And in the end, that was worth more than all the money in the world. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share your story in the comments. Your voice matters.